Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this episode of Harvey County Talk. As always, I am your host, Lance Gormley. Our guest on the program today is Chris Touhey, who is the regional manager of Kemper Sports Management, but also we in the community would know him as the GM of Sand Creek Station.
That's correct.
Yes.
That's it.
And I would say from the beginning, your name has been attached to Sand Creek Station since the beginning, correct?
Yeah, there's no doubt. First off, Lance, thanks for bringing me on. I'm really thrilled to be here today and talk about just the walk that and being a part of such a special project, not only for Newton, but also for our company, Kemper Sports, and also I think for the golf industry. You know, really, it's been a real lottery ticket for me to see it from its infancy stages, from the pre-opening pieces, and then helping craft the plan and build the team and build the culture and where it's become today. So really thrilled to be on the visiting with you about this great topic. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It wasn't too long ago that I was watching a success story at the Newton City Commission. I watch it via social media, usually Facebook or something if I can't make it in person. And I was not there that day, but I remember seeing you come in and talk about an upcoming tournament that we're having that's pretty awesome, really. And we'll cover that later.
Yeah.
But then recently I was watching another city commission meeting, and before I could even get a hold of you and say, hey, I want to have you on the program to talk about this huge success story.
Sure.
I hear you're leaving.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, I gotta get a hold of myself and get a hold of this guy, or I'm not going to have an opportunity to be able to capture who you are, how you've impacted Harvey County, all of the success that comes along with Sand Creek Station, just the whole thing. Yeah. And so I'm really blessed that you came on the program, agreed to come on the program, and I didn't send you any questions in advance or anything. So
you're make sure the audience knows this isn't scripted now. We're rolling with this.
I cold called the guy.
Right off the sleeve. So that's how I roll too. So I'm ready. This is going to be fun.
All right. But the easiest question that I always ask the guests, and really it's the best part that I get to be able to listen to is, Chris, where did you come from? Who are you? Where did you go to school? Just kind of give the audience the from the time that you came into the world, I guess you could say, or where you came into the world at, and then how you found your way to Newton.
Yeah, great question. And it really started. I grew up in Central Arkansas and got attached to golf when I was a freshman in high school, and had a really good friend of mine, David White, who still to this day is one of the most accomplished players in the state of Arkansas. He was a great amateur player. He was a great friend. He helped me with my personal walk in the Lord. And he was just a great example of really what a good ambassador to humanity is. And, it quickly dawned on me after I graduated in Central Arkansas. I briefly went down and spent some time in Southern Florida. It didn't really work out for me. And helped my dad out in New Orleans, Louisiana. So I had a very, very, very brief stint in Southern Florida, and then relocated to New Orleans, Louisiana, where I just, when I was trying to find myself, and I'm 52 years old, and I'm still trying to find myself today, but at a very young age, golf was very special to me, and I wanted to be a part of it. And it just catapulted into a career. And so I got my start at Bayou Oaks, which was formerly known as City Park, 4 golf courses right in the heart of New Orleans, and literally started as, frontline supervisor / cashier, washing golf carts, washing range balls. I mean, I did the traditional story of you hear the golf pros that kind of worked their way up through the food chain. Cool. And I worked at a private club in Colonial Country Club, which is no longer, unfortunately, it closed down. But I was in the private space, and I had a good friend of mine who said, hey, we would like to offer you a job, interestingly enough, back to Bayou Oaks. Bayou Oaks was the Friends of City Park hired Kemper Sports at the time to manage their 4 golf courses. And he said, I like the way you work. I like your demeanor. I like your approach to people. Would you be interested? And I said, no. I said, I'm really happy where I'm at. And really, I think I felt the kick in my back from something greater than me that said, no, you need to go look at this. So long story short, I became the head golf professional at Bayou Oaks for Kemper Sports.
Wow.
And this is more than 20 years ago. And ever to this day, I can tell you, I love my company so much. I'm truly blessed. I wake up every day and work for a company that I feel really special in there. And they walk the talk. They really value their people. And the story I'm about to tell you, I think, will epitomize that statement. And on August 29, 2005, Hurricane Katrina made landfall in the heart of New Orleans and decimated our 4 golf courses and also wiped out my house. And I was a man without a country. I was in my early 30s. Wow. I got displaced back to Central Arkansas.
So I got to stop you there.
Yeah.
I don't mean to stop you in your story, but, you just breezed over something that's a pretty monumental thing, right? I mean, I'm with you. I'm listening to you. I'm thinking you're living good. You're getting promoted. The whole thing is happening. You take over control, or at least be a major part of. So you're on the uptick, right, at this point, and then Hurricane Katrina happens.
Boom.
And not only did you get wiped out as far as your employment was concerned, because that wasn't going anywhere anytime soon.
No.
I mean, they're still rebuilding New Orleans, but you lost your home.
Oh yeah,
you lost everything.
Did. Had the clothes on our back. I had a young family. I had 3 small kids, and didn't plan for life. I wasn't responsible enough to fully understand that those things can happen. The unforeseen can knock you on your butt at any given moment, things that are completely out of your control. And I established a great appreciation for people, because being displaced and was in Central Arkansas, I saw the good in people. Literally, still to this day, remember going to a Walmart and having a lady come up and hand me $10. And what a great gesture, but just by looking at, and I don't mean to judge, but looking at maybe the way she was dressed, the kind of vehicle she was driving, $10 looked like that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then, a man who owned a clothing store who helped me out with clothing, run the gambit on shoes and shirts and pants. And we had great conversation, and I just remember him looking out the window and saying, I had to do something. My youngest daughter, I watched her take her first steps in a home that wasn't our home. And so those are the things you remember. But it's a happy ending for me, Lance. It really is, because I never went without. I always had a place to sleep. I always had money in my pocket. I always had the things that maybe we take advantage of every day, but I had the essentials. I could make it. And Kemper played an integral part of that. Kemper was very engaged, stayed in touch with me, and actually offered me a job in Howard County, Maryland, to serve as a general manager there at one of our properties that we still have today.
Yeah, so they didn't look at you and go, hey,
not at all.
Sorry, but because that is placing, kudos to Kemper, right? Because that's placing a high value on employees over, your assets. Because that's a huge loss that they're having to go through, and then to be able to bring you along and provide you, instead of just telling you,
Yeah, tough luck, kid.
Yeah.
No, they didn't do that. I really do think they're a company that does invest and value their people, and I think it's evident. And I use this story constantly when I go through, if I'm public speaking or if I'm teaching our company's customer service training program, which I do at some of our other Kemper properties. Yeah. Sometimes I'll do that. And this is a story that people get sick and tired of hearing, but when you go through it, and the gratitude and the outreach that Kemper gave me, that's a debt I'll never be able to pay back. And it's embedded, it's ingrained, it's something you'll never forget. And so I don't mind if people are bored of hearing it and sick and tired of hearing it. I'm still going to beat that drum till hopefully the day I quit working and I want to stay with this company. But, to talk about Sand Creek Station, I remember Mark Hosing, he's a mentor of mine. He's a senior vice president with the company, and we connected when this job came open. And I was in Little Rock, Arkansas. I was staying just outside of Little Rock, and jumped in the truck, drove 7.5 hours. It's January of 2006. And kind of about on a day like today, it's not too cold, but cold enough to where we're not going to walk around and it's a beautiful day. We're going to use the truck. We're going to ride around in Chris's truck and we're going to take a spin. And I'll tell you that after spending 2 hours in Newton, Kansas with Mark and seeing the golf course, I drove back the same day. And my family asked, well, what do you think? I said, we're moving to Newton, Kansas. Golf course is a thoroughbred. And I really saw the quality of work, and I really mean this, Lance, when I say the city of Newton deserves so much credit for building an incredible project. They did it right from start to finish. The quality of the golf course, its water source, the size of the clubhouse. Loved the way, I loved the model. They invested in the course, and it's paid dividends, as we can see still to this day, not just from a financial space, but also from a brand and a reputation. Yeah. And so, kind of the 4 or 5 minute elevator pitch, that's where I'm here today.
Yeah. So, okay, when you came to Newton, I always like to ask people who come from other places, maybe you've been in Kansas before this, maybe not, maybe passed through, anything?
No.
Kansas was not on your list of places to visit for a vacation. Huh?
No, when I crossed Interstate 35 from the Oklahoma-Kansas state line, I said, all right, so this is Kansas. It's flat.
It's flat.
And no, I had never been to Kansas before.
And then when you started to come here and see what we were building, really in our quaint community here, how did you feel you were first received by people in our community?
Better than I expected. That's why it's hard. That's why it's hard to leave this community and leave Kansas. It was a family-oriented straight from the get-go. I can still remember Denise Dirksen, our city clerk to this day, finding coloring books because there was days I had to bring my girls that were very young at the time. City staff welcomed me with open arms. The whole community welcomed me with open arms. It was, I can't thank them enough for how warm and welcome they really were. And straight from day one, always had a, yes, we can do this attitude, always had, what can I do for you? And, don't hesitate to reach out. Really, this is a community, I think, that they care. You're not a stranger.
Yeah.
You'll never met a stranger in Newton, Kansas. Never.
I would agree with that statement. We're definitely a people in this community that are willing to embrace people from other communities, especially when they show up to manage our state-of-the-art, awesome golf course.
That's right, man.
Okay.
That's right.
So with this being said, okay, I gotta say it. In the beginning, that there were some people that didn't see the vision. I mean, anybody that had lived here, you kind of stepped into a situation that already had a past history, and I don't know if it was known to you, maybe unbeknownst to you. Obviously that some people didn't necessarily get on board or couldn't find the value in the project when they were breaking ground.
Yeah.
Right. Like in any situation.
Sure.
I hate to say it, but it's the 10-year vision, right? And I would even say personally, just being honest, I was like somewhat skeptical. We had some other hiccups in the road, and we were just, as a community, really just wondering, is this the move that our city should be taking?
Right.
And couldn't see the vision.
Yeah.
But now, looking back, wow. And wow. Like when you said, we got to pay homage to the city and the planning and those that were involved in making it's a beautiful golf course.
It is. It's amazing.
And I'll tell you, my attitude changed on it when I was at WSU teaching, and when the students found out that I was from Newton, about the only connection that these people, and they had stars in their eyes. They were like, have you played golf at the golf course? And I'm like, well, I've been there to volunteer before, but I'm not a golfer. Oh, it is a great golf course. And start telling me about hole this or hole that or this or pitch or pound. And I'm like, I don't know, but
sure.
but I will say this. You're leaving a success story behind, and I just want to give you the floor, because I don't even think that I know of all the things that have transpired out there at the course. Even talking about getting through COVID
Oh,
you know,
man. Wow, that was an adventure.
Yeah, so I mean, tell the audience a little bit about when you first came. You had a pre-built golf course that was probably not, knocking down the awards quite yet.
It's pretty early though. It's pretty fast.
Early,
yeah.
But you got an awesome golf course. You took responsibility for it. You took ownership for it. So I know that you got to know. Tell me some things that Sand Creek Station has been able to do since their inception.
Yeah, great question. So, and on that note of skepticism, I mean, I think everybody was really going down this dark path, and we didn't know what the outcome was going to be. What we did know is we had a thoroughbred, and I really felt like I was climbing on a secretariat, and I felt like this horse is ready to run. Now it's up to us to go build the business. And right from day one, again, I'll go back to what I do believe what our brand is at Kemper Sports, and that's to manage our facilities in the best-in-class manner, to hire the right people, to have passion, care for people, to get ingrained in the community, to build the business with player development, with tournaments, and could go on and on and on. But we wanted to build a culture that people would gravitate to. We wanted from the beginning to the end, when a customer walked, as soon as they, arrived at the golf course, we wanted to give them a private experience. Our tagline was public course, private experience. And we focused on that. We really did. It didn't matter what walk of life you came from. Doesn't matter what you made. It was from a salary. It doesn't matter, if your family had political positioning in the state or nationally. We wanted Joe the plumber to walk on the grounds and feel like he was part of a club. And we think that was part of our of starting it from the grassroots is where we started building a reputation. Again, back to the quality of the course, we knew this golf course was not constructed like maybe another golf course in a community that was just going to be a quality of life appendage. It was going to be something that the taxpayers supported, and it's a nice little golf course. We'll go pay our greens fees and go play our golf course and go home. Again, the city built an amazing venue, and we knew we could take this venue and do more. And so we started building relationships with Kansas Golf Association. It's funny because still this day, I remember Kim Ritchie. We laugh about this. Kim Ritchie at the time was the executive director, and he's a good friend of mine. He's actually helping us with the adaptive. He's a cancer survivor. And we can talk about that a little bit later, but I saw Kim in 2006, and I said, hey, we want to do a state amateur here. And he kind of laughed and said, hold on, kid. I don't know who you are. I don't know your model. I don't know your work style. And are you capable of doing this? But quickly, we started building a relationship, and we've hosted 2 men's state amateurs out there and 2 women. And then the railer came. And the railer became such a staple in not just Kansas golf, Midwest golf. It's really become a destination for some of the top collegiate players. Just this last year, a player from Oklahoma State finally played. He won. This is one of the most celebrated golf programs annually in NCAA golf. So it just took a lot of it took a lot of ongoing communication and a lot of really wanting to build our reputation and build the trust and the loyalty. And then what we saw is people really appreciated that. There's 17,000 great golf courses in our country. And what's going to make you different? So we wanted to try to provide an experience that was unmatched. And it's like working with our tournament. So it took time, but what we saw that we've built a solid reputation. We're not perfect by any means. And it's funny you talk about COVID, and we can talk a little bit about that, about its impact in our industry. But it's not just, what we've done on the ground. Again, it's what the expertise at the Kemper Sports. It's how the community supports us. It's how the city supports us. It takes a lot of winning ingredients to make this outcome. So very proud to be part of it. Yeah.
Well, it takes a lot of forward thinking. I would say that I concur. I mean, I've been out there to volunteer to, like I said, to do this, that, or the other, and help make golf tournaments go off for things and raise money and the whole thing. And I've been treated like I'm, a club member, and I've never even picked up a golf club. I don't know how to golf. I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't.
I don't know how to golf much either. That's why I'm on the other side of the counter, because I'm not on Sunday playing with the big boys.
I love it. But I've been invited multiple times to go out and hit balls. I mean, this is an atmosphere in which anybody that I've talked to or heard from in all demographics, all age groups, I mean, people, I mean, younger, older, you name it, they enjoy the experience that they get there, and they attach Newton to that. They do 100%, and it just feeds into what you said in the beginning, which was you came here and you were greeted with hospitality and community, and then you're just able to transfer that over. You humbly said with the help of many people, but to being able to just put that as a beacon of light and shine it all over the flatlands of Kansas.
Amen.
And I just got to tell you, I'm hearing you're a humble guy, but I got to say leadership goes a long way now, and I'm greatly appreciative of all that you've been able to network and do and accomplish. I mean,
appreciate that.
I heard during the city commission meeting when you had mentioned that you were going to move on to someplace else in same capacity. Actually, not the same capacity. Your company once again is just rewarding you for being somebody that is a good steward of what they've been able to give you to be able to bless others with.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and it is a great opportunity.
I see it.
It is, but and I appreciate the statement about being humble, but it's factual. I'm only as good as the people that surround me, and there's a lot of unsung heroes that just don't get the recognition that they deserve. James Houchin, who was a superintendent at Sand Creek Station, him and I opened the place, for crying out loud. And still, here we are almost 20 years, and James is a partner. The organizational chart, that's great on a piece of paper as far as the general manager and then the department heads, but man, you just take that, throw it away, and put it in the trash can, because it's either we're all in or we're not. And we laugh together, we cry together, we fight together, we celebrate together. And I mean that. I'm surrounded by a wonderful group of dedicated staffers that really make it happen every day. And that is not, I'm here to win your vote speech. That's a fact. Yeah. I have some wonderful people that surround me. And James leads by example. He epitomizes hard work, and he really does lead from the front. He's a manager that would never ask someone to do anything that he wouldn't do himself, or nor has he, done himself. Yeah. So, there's just great people there, and I'm really sad to go, but I do think that the facility is not going to skip a beat. There was a lot of check boxes that were cleared before this decision was made, including the upcoming USGA tournament. Yeah. That was deeply discussed with Kemper and the executive leadership and we had deep conversations to ensure that this championship would be a success, because there's a lot of parties at stake here. We've got to put on our best show, and we will. Yeah. And I will still be involved in the USGA adaptive, and I'll still help out when needed at Sand Creek Station.
Well, we're highlighting success, and we breezed over, and you had mentioned that we could talk about a little bit more in depth, but we're still close enough to the COVID and the experience that we all had, a shared experience, and how it uniquely affected us all in our own individual ways, in our lives and our roles. And in your capacity with what you were talking about, you have a pretty strong team.
Incredible team.
You went through this was just not good and sunny pastures all day. This was some really rough waters. What's something out of that experience, not to super focus on COVID, right? Because we're all sick and tired of it. But what was one thing that you could take out of COVID that you experienced while just going through this
Yeah.
with your team?
Yeah, great question. So when COVID got hot and heavy, I mean, when we started really thinking about, is there going to be sandbags on every corner? Are we going to have checkpoints, state your business, curfews? There was a lot of uncertainty, and we were scared.
Yeah.
Our company was scared. The world was scared.
Do the right thing.
We didn't know, what tomorrow was going to bring, and we were living in an ever-changing life.
Yeah.
And so when, to the credit of the state, when they started implementing the stay-at-home orders and who was essential and who was non-essential, you're not going to list, or typically you're not going to list a golf course as being an essential, part of, categorized as, call it essential.
Yeah.
But we actually, at the time, we had a couple state representatives that I reached out to, and I said, all I need is just some clarity. Can we stay open or can we not stay open? And we got in front of the right people, and the state said, we love it. We think it's great. If you guys want to stay open, it's providing an escape to COVID. Everybody's sick of hearing about it.
The best kind of scenario you could have if you're going to play a sport when everybody's going to get COVID.
And that made an impact on our industry, and it introduced the game, I think, to a whole new audience. But so at that time, what we did, we literally team huddled. We literally all got in a room and said, you're in or you're out. If you're out, we understand. This is a global pandemic. We want to make sure that you and your family are safe. And the whole team at the time raised their hand and said, we're in. And we got really creative. We cooked food outside. We were disinfecting golf carts. It was single riders. Nobody could come in the clubhouse. We literally popped open the windows on both sides, and we were just boom, 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 boom. We just had people coming out, and we were very responsible and mindful of safety. We really were. Yeah. And long story short, what we saw, Lance, we saw our customers. I think that helped build even a stronger rapport, and call it community. And time and time again, we had customers that said, we can't thank you enough for being open.
Yeah.
While competitors closed, and that was certainly their decision, and we understand. We decided to, try to live up to the potential and dedicate ourselves. But the outcome was really great for us, and it was so sad. I mean, I think we all knew someone that lost their battle to COVID, and I did. But we wanted to give someone an escape from just going home, and that's all you heard.
Yeah, that was a lifeline for a lot of people.
Yeah, well, even for staff, right? I mean, we weren't just stuck in a home going just, cabin fever crazy. We could get out and we could get as close to the normal walk of life as we could under, some strict guidelines and circumstances. And we became a lot stronger by going through that. And COVID really made an impact. I hate to say it. It made an impact on our industry for the better, to your point, because it was a safe sport.
Yeah.
And then we saw kind of the traditionalist competitive audience switch over to the social. And I think golf has really moved into more of a social environment now, post-COVID. Yeah. And it's certainly given us a leg up to catch this, prosperity, as that's what we want to call it. And so what we're seeing golf courses having a high degree of success. The one thing for me is after the end of this year, we had our most successful year in 2023 financially, and we had some incredible events. I think, and I've talked to other operators in the field, I think we've become detached from our core values and what at the property level from what we really wanted to deliver, to be getting back to what you talked about. And I appreciate your comment about how we want to get back to being that public course private experience. And I think we lost some of that because of just over demand, and we were just literally getting through the day and processing business.
Okay, so you're saying that the negative side of that is that more people want to use your golf course than less, and because of the demand, then it's starting to look more like Joe Schmo could say that looks more like a public golf course to me, or a private one. But in all reality, these are not bad problems to have, because one has to help the other sustain, right? So you have to have these to be able to provide this, right? We've got to have some days where we provide some service to some people, so that way all of us can have service on every other day.
Well, it's a great point. No, it's a great point. And what we've identified is we live in a new world.
Yeah.
And what we have to do is now we have to adjust our resources, and we have to move our resources to the level and to the amount of demand that there is right now. and we're playing catch up. Normally, as you know, in industries, one is trying to play catch up with the other. Either you have over demand or you have, under demand. And it's the same goes with supplies. And so, the goal for this year and for next year is for us to, get back to where we can provide that great experience again. It's not just hitting the button on the cash register and put the money in the bank. We want to be an experience-based venue. That's what we want Sand Creek Station to be known for. We don't want it to just be a nice golf course, and it is a nice golf course, but we want people to leave and say, hey, it's a good golf course, great golf course, but people even better. Yeah. So that's one of our MOs for this year and hopefully for next year, because I think the momentum still continued. I think industry-wide we're still seeing big demand in golf.
Yeah, and speaking of the coming year, is it like the crowning achievement? I've got to know. In your world, right? Because I'm not there, right? To host a tournament such as one that's coming up, and I want you to just tell the whole world about it using the mic of Harvey County.
Yeah.
But that's almost like a crowning achievement for not only our golf course, but everybody that's been a part of it all the way down to the planning stages.
Yeah, it's great. Great observation, great point. It is a crowning achievement for this entire community and for our company. So just, when I found out about the adaptive, I really applaud the USGA, and I know I've said it before, and I truly was so intrigued when I heard its mission and the audience that it's supporting. What's really great about Sand Creek Station hosting the third adaptive is the USGA, they worked with Pinehurst, and Pinehurst is a world-renowned resort, and rightfully so. They should go to a venue of that caliber for multiple reasons, for volunteer base, for infrastructure, for whatever they need, because the USGA was learning just as much as the host facility was learning, and even the players were learning what this tournament is all going to be about and what its face is going to look like.
Yeah.
And I think that's still changing. I think they're still learning and wanting to make it better. But the first 2 years at Pinehurst, I think it went great, and I think they made the right choice. So here we are now. All of a sudden, the adaptive is going to leave Pinehurst, and it's going to look for another home for a year. And we had relationships already with the USGA through myself with the Pub Links in 2014, but also with Kemper Sports, and we work very closely with the USGA. In fact, we're hosting a slate of upcoming USGA championships. We hosted the U.S. Open. We hosted that in 2015 at Chambers Bay, which is a municipal golf course as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of really celebrated stories in the company working with the USGA. But it starts. The USGA is very traditional in their process, and it literally begins with a very simple one-page request to Mark Hill, who is a great guy. He works for the USGA. He's one of the key stakeholders in selecting potential venues. And so it literally started with a request. In April, here comes the Tiger team of USGA folks. And I appreciated the city staff, and I appreciated the elected officials who were there to support that. And also Kemper Sports. We had Val D'Souza there, who's vice president of operations.
Awesome. Good
friend of mine, great mentor as well. But we wanted to really put our best foot forward and show the USGA we were serious about this. And I still thought, because everybody's asking me, what do you think? What do you think? I said, I don't know, but if there's 5 or 6 USGA people here, they're strongly considering us.
Yeah.
It's not just one person coming in saying, I work in admin. They told me to come out here.
I got my,
I got to get my hours. I got to get my work hours in. No, this is the group, everybody from course setup to site plan project manager to, who's going to be the championship director for this. And about 30 days later, I got a phone call. And Greg Sanfilippo, great guy. And he said, hey, I got some good news, and I got some more good news. And I said, okay. I said, what? And he said, well, you're going to host the adaptive. And I said, you got to be kidding me. And then he said, the better news is you're going to host it next year. I said, okay. So he said, we have confidence in you. We know you'll pull it off. It will be, again, the third, and it'll be the first time it's left Pinehurst. So we got to put on our best show.
Yeah.
And we will.
Yeah.
And so, we've hit the streets really hard with volunteer recruiting and also with funding support. And we've already seen some great interest, and we've also seen some great returns. So, Lance, the way I've tried to explain this is I think that especially when we look at this particular group and you think about, every day, go back to what I said earlier, that the things that we take advantage of every day.
Yeah.
And I have so much respect and admiration for this particular audience. And they don't want to be treated any different other than just normal. But I'm left-handed, and I've told it at some of our volunteer meetings, and also just when I've spoke, I think I said it even at the Newton Medical Center, that I just wanted to wake up one day and not use my right arm. And I just want to see what that's like. I want to see what it's like to drink coffee, drive my car, brush my teeth, get ready for bed, eat dinner, take the dogs out, hold my wife, hug my kids, and I want to see what that does. And where I'm going is, if you really want, I think, to be part of something that's monumental for your life, be a part of this championship. And just watch how much these great, wonderful citizens appreciate life.
Yeah.
And I've met a few, and they're very inspiring. And so,
And they're coming from all over
the world.
Like this is the tournament of tournaments.
This is the Super Bowl of adaptive golf, is the way Greg Sanfilippo describes it.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I say it filled a major void,
Yeah.
and I think it did. And I'm so proud, again, of the USGA, and I'm so proud of our community, and I'm so proud of Kemper Sports. I'm so proud of everybody stepping up to the plate and saying, yeah, we want to be a part of this.
Yeah, embracing it. And us as a community now have the opportunity to embrace it.
Yeah.
Our leadership, your guidance, your leadership, Kemper. I mean, all of this has been built. Once again, I just say all these, the tracks, because we got to use a rail reference here. The tracks have been laid, and the train is coming home to station.
It is.
It really is. And this is a amazing thing. So you've got to tell me, I know you've started to put out the war cry for help. You need help. Who can help? How can they help? If somebody's saying, how can we as a community embrace this to make sure that we are just as much a part of what's going on, to make sure that our town is represented and that Newton, Kansas, America is represented appropriately?
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Me too.
Chris,
I'm fired up. I'm ready to roll.
I'll volunteer. I'm going to be back.
I'm going to be back, man. I'm ready. I would say that I got asked the same question in 2014 with the public links. And it was funny because Commissioner Valentine invited me to go speak at Kiwanis out at the bread basket. Had to buy a pie because, man, they looked really good when I did a walk by.
Basket.
It's pretty good. And so
I know.
I know.
It's the bread basket.
No, it is. The bread basket's awesome. So, but I had a group of ladies that came to me and said, I don't golf. I don't know what I'm going to do. They said, we can bake really well. I said, you got it. Yeah. And they baked apple pies and literally dropped them off at the hotels.
Nice.
Still get stories from today on that. So you don't have to play golf to be a part of this. What I love about, especially with the working with the USGA, is there's the core responsibilities that you do have to abide by, which you should.
Yeah.
But then you can kind of build your own model, and you can kind of build your own experience. And just those type of little examples, I think, is where we can really knock it out the park.
Yeah.
That's what people will remember. People will remember the golf course. They'll remember the championship. They'll remember gifts. They'll remember prizes. But let's do something really special with food. Let's do something really special with how we're going to welcome them.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, I'm ready to rock, and we'll find something for you to do.
Yeah.
There's a turnkey, we have a volunteer portal that anybody can go to and fill out. And I think there's a space in there where you can put notes. We're going to have our first volunteer training kind of / recruiting go to at Grace Community Church on February 1st. Anybody would like to come,
okay,
you can call the shop and sign up. And Grace Community Church, God bless them, they've been so incredible with this. We were really worried because of the number of volunteers that we need to retain or recruit and eventually retain. Grace Community Church said, because we didn't think the golf course had the parking capacity, we needed to look at other opportunities and other venues. And they said, we're in. we're so in, and Grace Community Church has been a great partner. So we're gonna hub out of Grace Community Church for volunteers.
Yeah, sending a shout out to them all.
Amen.
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah, because that's a deal there. I mean,
doubt.
I can see how that strategically would be very, very good to do.
Yeah.
With the type of traffic and like you're saying, you got to have partners.
Well, God bless Steve Friesen. He's been our cheerleader, and I think he went to Will Regier and Jack, and they've been good. Just the whole crew there over there has been wonderful to work with. It's like anything we ask, they're like, "Oh yeah." We did a volunteer meeting, just kind of an introduction to the adaptive, and there was holiday cookies out there, and it was, it's a small town America, man.
Yes.
I love
this.
It's
the care about somebody.
But that's the connection, and those are the things that we need to make sure is part of our model and our plan when we do have our volunteers. We're never going to turn away volunteers.
Yeah,
you can.
I have to say it from the beginning of this until now. One thing that you have expressed is consistent is that we really are small town America here.
That's good.
Like that you've experienced in your own life these things coming from afar to us, and then have watched this get displayed and reciprocated to other people who are coming here.
Sure. I don't think, and when I say that, sometimes people take offense to that, but really I think Newton needs to take a lot of pride in being small town.
Yeah.
I've lived in a big city, and traffic and leaving your front door unlocked, I mean, those are just things that you deal with and you can't deal with.
Yeah.
But I think, my opinion, I think Newton needs to take a lot of pride. They are a small town that offers they have some incredible resources. We've talked about the hospital. Wow. What an amazing hospital.
Yeah. I mean, I love my town.
Unbelievable. I love Newton too. love this town.
I love it.
And so, but the USGA likes that as well. I think that they really are attracted to that small town vibe.
Yeah.
And, that can just tell that when they come here, I mean, with all the banks and how they put, on the signage. We ran one of the junior college national championships, and I don't think it was the one we did just this past year. I think it was in 2015, and one of the coaches came to the golf course and said, you guys welcome us like we're family.
Yeah.
I mean, I drive down Main Street, and one of the players goes, "Look, it says welcome NJCAA competitors and friends."
Yeah.
Those things really matter. I've done this long enough to know that it's just those little extra added impressions that you can really you can hit it hard, and people really do go home and think, I'm going to talk up Newton. I want to come back.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you know that he just said February 1st, there's something, and we'll share it. We'll help to try to promote it or whatever. But for people to know that they can go to this meeting, they can sign up to volunteer. It's not hard to find.
Not at all.
Sand Creek or Sand Creek Station. Look it up online.
Or call us.
Or call you.
Yeah, you can call us 284-6161. You can call the shop. We'll take your name down, and if you just want to attend, that night at Grace, we ask that you RSVP so we know we can anticipate the size of the audience of who we're going to be accommodating. Okay. But the more the merrier. We would love to see a strong presence of local citizens be a part of this championship.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I got to say, while you're doing who you are, this is the first time I think we ever sat down and talked to one another, and I just say I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Hopefully I'm not too late in the game to tell you that face to face, but having been somebody that really pays attention and sees a lot of value in my community and see where we're going as a community and all of the things that are happening, even into a big deal like what we're talking about with this upcoming tournament, and that feeds into you and Kemper and the whole thing, the big ball, right? I'm just appreciative, and it's bothered me that we've got to say goodbye.
Well, yeah, I'll say.
I mean, you're killing me here, man.
It's killing me too.
I'm not gonna get to talk to you like this again in the future.
Well, we can maybe do it over the phone. Who knows? I mean, I'm gonna come back and visit, and I
love it.
I have had just more people come in the shop and wanting to sit down and shake my hand and say thank you, and I really mean this. Really, I'm the one that should be thanking you all for what you did, and just Let me tell you, man, that was a tough that was a tough time in my life, and it's a happy ending for me. There's some stories that, there's others that didn't have the same outcome, and God was very, he watched out for me, he watched out for my family. I couldn't have found a better place to raise my girls, and they're so appreciative, I think, of, their time. And that's one of the most precious times in your life, right? When you're a kid, you want to have great memories. And they do have great memories. They've told me, both of my girls have told me, actually I have 3 girls. 3 girls have told me that, had great memories as a child. And those are things that we'll cherish forever. And, this Kansas and Newton played a very important part of that.
Well, and that was your job, Dad. That was your job.
That
was your job when you're making memories with your kids, man. Yeah. Everything you just talked about was all adult stuff, and when you're talking about your kids and the experience that they've had here in our community and abroad, just the change and everything, thanks for saying thanks,
Well,
that's cool. I'm glad that, your kids got to have the same experience that I did growing up. Yeah. Not the same, but we love Kansas, people.
Yeah.
We love Kansas.
Yeah, I love Kansas too. And I met my wife here. I got remarried, 12 years ago, and God bless her. She puts up with me every day. There's a small place in heaven waiting on her to have to deal with me, and I'm sure she would agree. But it really has been turnkey. It really has. And, it's really difficult to leave this. In fact, I sometimes wake up and go, "What are you doing?" But I think it is time to let someone else see it through a new lens. I think it'll make the facility stronger, and I know that our company we're going to be very careful, and we're going to take our time. I think finding the right person. I use Herb Brooks, coach of the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team. I love his work, but he had a statement one time, and I think it's so true, that it's not always we're looking for the best people, we're looking for the right people. Yeah. And there's a difference. And I know that our company is going to take the time to find the right leader and who's going to come in and I think just take the facility to the next level. I'm confident that's going to happen.
Very cool. Very cool. And I would say you get to come here, get forever changed by our community, and then you get to take that experience with you to go help change others' lives and say, you know what, it was all because of my time in Kansas.
And that is actually a true statement, because look, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows. You don't always have wins, and we had some losses, and not everybody sees us as being an incredible story, even myself, and that's fine. But what I will tell you is what I did learn here in my time at Sand Creek Station, and again, working for Kemper Sports, that is my goal. My goal is to try to take that vision and that passion and try to move it to, new opportunities and new adventures.
Very cool. Okay, so we are coming to the end of the program, but if you watch the program, you know that at the end, I always give the guests the last word, or to speak directly to the hearts and minds of anybody listening right now, and you can pull it from the hat, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Everybody's listening.
I would say that, well, first off, thank you again for letting me come on. I would say that for everyone listening, if you're going through a dark time in your life, if things aren't looking up, don't give up, man. Really listen to the words of Jimmy V. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. It'll pass. Have faith. And, man, we're here. We got one life to live. Make it count. Go do things that others may see originally or still see as impossible. And, get in the arena, man. See what you can really become, and because when you do that, you'll be amazed of what you can accomplish. So, and I just can't thank this community enough for giving me 20 blessed years, everything from start to finish. And I really mean that. I'm going to miss you guys.
Well, thank you, Chris.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Lance.
I'm appreciative to have met you and had a conversation with
honor.
you. And
thanks.
Thanks for allowing us to capture this, so that way you just get to be there as another representative of our community and can't thank you enough.
Thank you, man. I'm going to do my best.
All right.
Appreciate it.